go and talk.
Yeah, she goes back to TV.
Just need to go and talk to him the whole time. Just need to go got it. Talk. Come on.
Well, thank you everybody for coming here to the Development Authority of the landfill. My name is Stuart Tamblin. I'm the Assistant Landfill Superintendent here on site. I've been here 19 years. I live in Rodman, so this is my backyard. We take care of this facility, and that's why we try to invite everybody we can every year to come up and see what we do here. We're very proud of what we do. As we're pulling on to the scales, you can see this, if you guys can look out the left-hand windows, some can, that's telling you how much we weigh. So a garbage truck comes in, and they actually pull up on this scale, get weighed, and that lets the people in the scale house know what the weight of that loaded truck is. And then they'll go up to the landfill and dump the waste off. And that's where we'll go now. We'll show you exactly what the waste trucks are doing daily. When they go to the landfill, they dump the garbage off, and then they come back out and weigh out on the other scale. And the difference in that weight is what we charge for the waste. Right now it's $46 a ton. So any garbage that's being thrown away, we're charging the haulers that much for the waste, and that's what it takes. That's where we get our finances from. As we're going up through here on your right, you'll see a pump station, little building right here. What that's doing is actually pumping the leachate, which is any rain or snow that hits garbage is classified as leachate. So all that water goes through the waste and goes into the collection system, and from that point it goes into our leachate tanks, which at the end of the tour we'll show you where that is. And from that point, our tractor trailers, we're hauling 10 loads to the city of Watertown to the treatment plant up there. So it's taken off site, treated. So nothing's left on site here. If everybody's heard about our expansion, if you've heard it on the radio, our original footprint is almost full. So we had to do an expansion on our right here. You see all this construction going on. What expansion is we're actually building 2 cells right now. Cell 12 and cell 13. See where that big rock is out there? That's cell 12. What a cell is, we'll pull up a little bit more, and cell 13's almost built. We got liners and stuff to put on. We do have a diagram down at the building that'll show you how a cell is designed. So if you look down through here, you'll see a roller right there by that ditch. That's the center of cell 13. So the way it works is it's lined, any leachate that comes to the waste goes down into this collection, and it's almost designed just like a bathtub, where the water goes, it's all pitched 30 feet down to the lower end. The water actually runs down to that lower end, gets pumped out, goes to leachate tanks. And it's a dual composite liner. Like I say, in the building we do have a whole mock-up of how that's designed, so take a look at it. That'll show you what they're doing here on these new cells. All the way around site we do have monitoring wells that are drilled prior to any waste place, so we do monitor all the groundwater around site. We're regulated through DEC, and any water that hits that's not leachate, which is just called stormwater. So anything that hits any other area on our facility here is stormwater. We have to collect all that in our stormwater ponds. We use that for dust control, but we also test that before any of that's released. So if there's any contamination, we know, and it lets any silt go down, it settles out, and then once we get too much silt in there, we'll actually take the silt, bring it back into the landfill. Any questions so far? Everything you're seeing, it'll be a little easier when we're coming back down the hill. This is all the future southern expansion. So this will actually projected to last to 2070. So that gives you an idea. Each cell will just keep going as the cells are filled with waste. They'll do another cell. It'll keep going all the way around to where this other perimeter road is. Yes?
How far away is the trash from this trash?
The question was, how far do we get the trash? We actually have 3 counties, Jefferson, Lewis, and St. Lawrence County. We handle all 3 of them counties. So that's where all the waste. Yes?
How long is the expansion project scheduled to last? How long will the expansion project take to complete?
The expansion that they're doing right now, it's in phases. So 12 and 13 will be completed next year. The waste is projected to actually start going into cell 12 in August, end of August. So them cells will be done along with some pump stations and stuff put in. And then as they're filled up, we'll continue to go another cell. So everything we're driving on right now is garbage. If that gives you an idea, this is how much garbage is thrown away since 1992. So everything from the bottom, when we were on that bottom road down below, everything we drove on was started in 1992 with the garbage that was thrown out in the 3 counties. We did for a while have, for 20 years, we had Hamilton County too. So they're no longer bringing it here, they take it to a different landfill. So if you look out through, we do get a lot of wind, and if anybody's familiar with this area, we're on Tug Hill, so we get lake effect. If you see way out there in the horizon, so out on the horizon, that's Lake Ontario. You can see the lake out there. So as that lake gets picked up a little bit of moisture, and it dumps it right on us right here. You can almost see the lake effect start at this point. And the higher you go towards Barn Corners, they get a little more. So all year long, we do bring garbage in here year round. So we have quite a snow removal crew that can, keep all this area open. Where we are right now is the height of the garbage that's going to go on this phase. So we're filling all the way around this high point. And once that's done, then we'll go down into the new cell.
How deep are we at the bottom? What's the depth? Right here?
Right now we're at 1,190 feet. It started out, I'm thinking it was around 1,070 or 1,050, so yeah.
1,070 feet down.
Now what we do on a daily, we get it right around 800 tons a day of garbage. So that gives you an idea. Most trucks haul right around 40 tons, or 40 yards, I'm sorry. They come up here. When the trucks come up, they pull up here, they back up. The dozers we have will actually push the waste in front of our compactors. We do have 3 compactors on site. If one goes down, we have to have a backup one. As you see, the one here doesn't have a blade on it. We had an issue with that, so we do have backups. And right over that other orange, you see the bald eagle over there, up on the fence?
Wow.
We have portable litter fences. Because of the elevation, we get a lot of wind. So all these plastic bags and everything, as soon as the wind catches them, it takes them away. So we have to move these fences around daily, depending on what direction the wind is. Yep. The compactor is designed to smash and as tight as possible the waste that is brought in. The tighter he can get it, the longer this landfill is going to last. Any questions? Any questions while we're up top here?
Yeah, the Toyota denies us stuff, so we sent the stuff to that lawyer, so hopefully...
Actually, what you're seeing way in the back is our borrow area. What that's called is it's a big hill of dirt, and we need the dirt to put in our cells. So they actually go out and take the dirt out of that area. They're borrowing the soil from there. Yes, sir. We don't take any hazardous waste. This is a non-hazardous site. Anything that's recyclable, we don't allow. So like tires, pretty much anything that's recyclable is not allowed on site. What's that? Yes, we take, it's called C&D, construction debris. We do take that. Question is, what waste do we take or don't we take? We do take a lot of C&D in here. We do take contaminated soils. What that is if you see a gas station where they're taking the tanks out and they're digging the soil around the tanks, that's what we bring in here for our daily cover. It keeps the garbage covered up. Then we bring on-site soil to cover up while we're off it for 30 days. As we're going down through here, you see all these black pipes sticking up all over the place. The thing about garbage is if you've been around the landfill much, you get methane. That's the odor that you're smelling. So what we have is these wells, they're drilled down into the waste. Depending on where you are, there could be some that are 100 feet deep to around 70 feet deep. We stay 10 foot above the liner when they're drilling them. We have a gas plant, and what they're doing is pulling a vacuum on all these wells. So as they're pulling the vacuum, it's keeping all the gas out of the air, so we're not smelling it as much. But we can't keep all of it from escaping, but we do the best we can. Yes?
Will there be turkey vultures back in the building?
What was that?
Will there be turkey vultures back in the building?
No, there shouldn't be turkey vultures in the building. There's live birds though. But I don't know if they have a turkey vulture in there. As we're going down through here, that gives you a little better view of what the southern expansion is. What you're seeing this cleared area, that's the whole expansion. All the way from the first 2 cells we saw, they'll continue to fill all this up. Like I say, right now it's projected 2070. So I should be able to retire.
You say you draw a vacuum on the methane. What do you do with the methane?
What we have is a gas plant. We'll drive out here. What the methane is getting pulled out, run through their diesel engines, switched over to gas engines. And we'll actually pull up, you can see them. They're making power out of it. Yes. Yep. Yes, put it right on the grid. Yeah. I do have the numbers here. Once we get out there, I'll read my script.
It's just the top of your head. It's no worry.
And we did have our contractor park his small dozer up here for us that he's real proud of. It's a D10. We'll be driving up here, however, kind of slow down. It's a pretty impressive machine that he has. Like I say, he's pretty proud of it, so he was very happy to park it up to the road so we could see it when we drive by. Each cell, like I say, you look at that diagram down there, you're going to see all these pipes that are sticking out. The other end had manholes. They're showing CO1, which is a clean out 1, clean out 2. Each one's a cell. And that's the piping that the leachate comes down and runs through, which collects down into the main pump station. So each one of these that you're seeing, that's how many cells that are under this landfill. All this area here is tapped. And what that is, once we've placed the waste to a certain elevation, we're not going to put any more. There's another liner system that goes over top of that. And then we put more clay and more soil. And what that is keeping any gas from escaping, any water going down in. So it's pretty much sealing that area up. Any questions yet? What they're building right here is the perimeter road, so that area they're filling in is actually going to tie right up to this road that we're driving on.
Oh, JBS dirt.
So this is the D10. And if you actually stand up beside it, it's a massive dozer. It's a big dozer.
Tyler's bigger than the bus.
So like I say, the wind that we get here, we do have some perimeter fences. We had a snowstorm, ice storm, took down a lot of our old fences. We haven't replaced it because we're going to be moving in a new cell. By the time we get back over here, the stuff's going to be gone. It'll be a lot of years before any litter gets this way. We'll show you, we do hire 2 temporary guys all summer long that go around picking garbage off the ground. Any bags that fly around, they're walking around picking that up. We have a vacuum unit. I'll show you that. We'll drive by. Just like a big vacuum cleaner, they drive along these litter fences and pick all the garbage up with them. We do have to annually mow our landfill, all the side slopes. So if you see that, every year we have to mow them. We have a brush hog on a skid steer, plus we do have another machine that's remote control that you can stand there and operate. It's called the spider. It just does it by itself. You stand there with the control. So if it does tip over, you're not riding on it. As we're building slope, we have a hydro seeder. We have to seed everything that we have that's outside of the waste. These are the permanent litter fences that we have down here. Like I say, if you see on the right, we have a litter vac. In the springtime, we get a lot. Wintertime, the high winds, we get a lot of litter that blow off the landfill. And it hits these fences, goes to the bottom. We take the vector up, and that sucks up the litter. Then we take it back to the landfill. Some days it blows back down, you do it again. But that's what it is. We have some motorized machines that's spraying out plant oil. You see these little white buildings, some piping running along. What that's doing is just making a mess to try to cut, you know, it's supposed to delete the methane smell. That's what you're smelling right through there, depending on what way the wind's blowing. If you see on your left, there was these black pipes sticking up out of the ground here too. What that is, that's the actual main gas line that's coming from the landfill. They're blowing that vacuum all the way down through this main line into these generators. So I'm going to read off here so you guys know exactly what they're doing.
Sorry. No, you're fine.
Oh, where was it? So October of 2008, this was built, this facility. Prior to that, we had a candlestick flare. If anybody has been around this area, remember seeing a fire over in the woods. We used to burn it all before this facility was built in 2008. So we were just burning the methane off.
So that flame hasn't been going since 2008 then?
Right.
It's been that long?
Yes, but I know, time flies. They do have a small candlestick flare over here for the stuff they don't use, they'll burn off, but it's not very much. So each engine sends 4,160 volts. This is a privately owned facility, which is boosted up to 35,000 volts to the main transformer a mile away, boosted all to 115,000 volts directly to the grid. Each one of them are radiators. They create a lot of heat, so they got big radiators running off them engines to cool them. This will tell you what it is. The power plant has 4 Caterpillar 3520C engines that each power 1.6 megawatts of electricity per hour. Each engine can power over 1,000 homes. So that's all run off the methane from the landfill. So if that gives you an idea.
Are all 4 running all the time? Or?
No, they have 3 running all the time. The 4th is a rotation. So when they have to work on one, they switch over. With methane, it's a very dirty, wet gas, so they have to clean it. I mean, if you picture garbage and then what's coming out of there, it's very dirty gas. So it's a whole scrubber system. Stop right there, yeah. If you look in there, you can see the engines. We can't go in there because they're very loud. Normally that door is shut. But if you go in there, they're a very loud engine. That's what, they're all being run off that methane from the landfill.
How many horse one of those engines?
Yeah.
How many horsepower is one of those, do you know?
I'm not really sure on the horsepower. I'll find out for you though. I'm sure he's down there, the guy that runs it. Now we're going to go down through what you're seeing our scale house. It was only a couple years ago we had an old scale house. We tore down and replaced it, so everything is all in one building. A lot of the facility has been redone and upgraded. Because of the new cells coming in, we wanted everything all combined into one unit, which keeps everybody working together so nobody's out by themselves in the building before the facility. All these roads that we just drove on in the wintertime have to be maintained. They have to be plowed, opened up all year long. So it's quite a job to keep this place open. We are, I think we're at 24 employees full-time here now on site. We're going to go right through into that building. So this is the route that all the garbage trucks come in, and then they, like you say, they went into the scales, went all the way, just like we did, come back out this way. So we have access to all trucks that come in. We know what's coming in. They have to have a manifest telling us what the garbage, what the waste is before we're allowing them in. DEC has made a new rule for us. We had to put a radiation detection in. That has to be done this year. So any trucks that come in with radiation, that'll detect it. Which, being where we are, we get very little. DEC knows that, but it's for all statewide. So what it'll do is just 2 monitors. As the truck goes through, it's monitoring that, so there's nothing that's coming on site. So we're going to go to the new leachate facility. We used to have 2 open tanks if anybody was here a few years ago for our leachate. Now we have 2 sealed tanks. So we don't get any rainwater to add to our leachate that was before. And it tries to keep the odors down from the leachate too. We're going to pull right in here. So we have 3 tractor trailers. We run 2 full time. They're hauling 10 loads a week to Watertown. What they do is they drive right into this facility, and all the leachate from the landfill comes down to here. They pull in, they swing the hose over, hook it onto the truck. Everything we have here is contained, so if anything does spill, it goes right back into a manhole, right back into the tank. So there's no spills that can happen. As we drive out, you're going to see the 2 harvester tanks. They're 1.2 million gallons each. So if that gives you an idea how much leachate that's coming out of there, is quite a bit. And this whole area around under these tanks are lined just like a landfill. So what they are is we have a containment area, and when we release the rainwater, it has to be sampled, make sure there's nothing leaking. But if there ever was a leak, that can contain this whole anything that's going to possibly be on here. This area here was our first borrow area they used to do the cells. You see the area is dug off. We're almost to the end. Any questions before we get back up the park? Like I say, go through the whole facility. We have the compactors. We have equipment out there that you guys can see that we saw up on the landfill. Take a look at it. It gives you an idea of what we're using to handle the waste. The mock-up of the cells, if you're wondering what the cell's design is, it's in there. Take a look. It shows exactly how they're building it. Ask some questions with the people that are in there, the piping, what we're using, and enjoy what we have out there to show you guys.